Hey there, how's it going everybody? Let's talk payroll. Let's talk payroll in the DMV. That stands for DC, Maryland, and Virginia, the Beltway. If you have a business in that area, you might have employees that are going to be living in any one of those two states or district. Maybe even DC will become a state soon, who knows? And it'll be 3 states. So I'm going to talk about how you would do payroll for a business in that area using this payroll in Excel program. All the things you need to enter, as well as we're also babysitting because we multitask here. That was not a curse word, by the way. That was Funkins that he just said. Now, let's talk about all of the different states and things that you need to enter in. So this is an employee info sheet, and as you gather information about your employees, you're going to put things like their name in here. You're going to put down whether or not they filled out a 2021 W-4. Whether or not they're married, if they have any allowances. These are things that I've talked about in another video. So I'm going to talk about more how to toggle with different states, because you're going to have employees in different states or districts. So for the District of Columbia, you're just going to need to fill out the D4 and find out how many allowances they have. That's going to be all you're going to need for DC. For an employee that's in Maryland, you would choose Maryland from this drop down, and you'll see that colors change and things change. And Maryland is going to ask you for a local tax. It's also going to ask you for a state filing status. So this stuff pops up in red. If you choose an employee in Maryland, you'll see you need to fill these things out and they pop up in red for you. So it's very dynamic, and the titles right here change whenever you change this state. Texas does not have any state tax. You don't have to worry about it. Virginia might ask these questions right here. But let's go back to Maryland for a second. So Maryland needs a county. You don't need to type the local tax rate in because it's automatically going to populate once you pick whichever county the person lives in. Also, you'll need to choose a state filing status. Are they married? Are they married and want to be withheld at a single rate? Then there's the federal questions over here, which I've discussed in a previous video. But anyway, so you can see there's different states, different ways to toggle and figure out different information for each employee. You also have the unemployment rate that is sent to you by the state. Whatever it is, you should put it there. As soon as you do that, Virginia's kind of low actually. Also, paid family leave is something that DC has. It's an employer expense. You would type your paid family leave expense for DC, the rate right there. Any workers' comp would go right here. So you got all this stuff in this employee sheet. Can you please turn off the television? You have all these things here that you can fill out for the employee. You also then have daily entry information. You can fill in names and dates and hours, and everything's going to roll forward to the pay period record sheet where you have all of your pay periods. You can then filter by pay period, look at everything you want. If something's in red, it means it's asking you for an hourly rate, for example. That's what that meant. There was something red there if you couldn't see it over my head. So all this stuff here, there's tons of different areas for you to put different types of withholdings and deductions and everything you could possibly need. And I even have COVID retention credits for certain employees built in there if that applies to your business. So once you have all that done, there's a bunch of different reporting functions that you can use here for multiple states. So here's the major 941 report, which is the report that you need to file every quarter, and the amount of money that goes to the federal government's 941 tax, generally for most businesses that are not agricultural businesses or another specific type of business. But generally businesses, you're going to be filling this thing out. So you can toggle and choose this 941 by quarter. It's going to show you all the information you just change and look at the different quarters. It's also going to break down, all this is going to change dynamically over here as well. So everything just moves around. Same things with the states. You can choose a different state report right here and it will show you exactly what you had, local tax and stuff that was related to us. And then we have actual pay stubs. You choose employees and then you choose dates up here and you get pay stubs, and you can trim and delete things from this pay stubs if you don't use them ever. You can do that. We have W-2s as well. And finally, we have this dynamic pivot sheet. And the dynamic pivot sheet is a lot of fun, and I'm bringing it up last because I've added a lot of different columns in here. This can act as a payroll register. It can act as a filter. You can open things up. You can see things by pay period. You can slice and dice by everything. And I'll discuss more of that in later videos. but you have totally ability to filter everything and just see one thing at a time or everything all at once and to mess around with it. So that is the update for the DMV. I will be back on the East Coast probably next week. I'm on the West Coast right now, but I'll be on the East Coast then. And we'll be doing more payroll and more tax work because payroll should be easy. So make it so. Good luck.